Marshall's going to take it away this time.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to, hey, I got to put my readers on to see. It's episode 33 of the Miles.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a lot of bullshit.
How about that?
33 hours of bullshit. The sequel. Unbelievable. Wow. So what have you been up to? I heard you went down to Florida. So
I did. I went to Florida.
Down to Florida in the middle of the summer. That sounds like a plan.
Hey, there was a pool and free booze and cigars. Everything was good. And,
I heard you also played some Dixo music.
Yeah. I spent most of July 4th just standing in the pool with Studio 54 on the Sirius app.
Studio 54.
Broadcasting to the neighbors.
54. Wow, that is crazy stuff. What can I tell you?
Living on the edge.
Did you sign up for that new Twitter today?
I did.
Yeah, I saw that.
In fact.
How'd you know last night? I saw. So it's called Threads. It's linked to your Instagram account. And I saw that Zuckerberg, he's one of those evil guys, and he likes to stay at Hyatt's. I heard that Zuckerberg guy. You heard that? Did you hear that?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, he's a globalist. He's one of those globalists that are taking over the world, right?
Zuckerberg and Tommy Danielsen.
Yeah, we're both globalists. Well, I don't have $300 billion and 3 private jets, but we're both globalists. I don't think he's a globalist with Hyatt. I think that when you got that kind of money, then you probably ain't going to be on that their Hyatt thing going, right?
I would guess not, but I suppose if you need a hotel, you might as well stay at Hyatt.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, there you have it. Well, we found a Hyatt today. We'll get to that later. How we stumble across a Hyatt nobody knew about, for sure. But let's start over there so we're going to talk about something that probably is not going to interest everybody, but for those who are in the frequent flyer world, they know that there is an airline in Scandinavia called Scandinavian Airlines, and there's one called Norwegian, and there's one less known but fairly well known called Wideroe or Wideroe or whatever. I don't know how Americans would. How would you read Wideroe?
Well, see, I would start with Wideroe, and then somebody would remind me that I'm supposed to pronounce that as a V, and then I'd go with Wideroe.
Right, like BMW is BMW, so the W is Wideroe is what we say in Norwegian. That's where I grew up. So this is an interesting story that I think came way out of the blue for me, for sure. I did not see this coming, but Wideroe is a regional carrier in Norway, meaning that they fly. There is something that's contracted flying, kind of like you have at some airports in the U.S. that it's not feasible to run or to commercially have routes to various airports in Norway, like little airports. And these short airports are 800 meters long. How much is that in feet?
Well, 3,000-ish.
Meter to feet. 2 feet. That is 2,624 foot runways are what we're talking about here. And there's only one airplane on this planet commercially that can take off from that with passengers. And that's the 37-seater -8 100, which hasn't been in production since
long time.
97, 98.
Yeah.
Something like that. So in order to, so Wideroe is what I think about when I think about Wideroe is subsidies, and I think about it for, as old junk that, it costs a lot of money to maintain these -8s, right? Yeah. It's very, very costly. And they are also very unreliable because of the cost that it takes to do them. And I also think about Wideroe Internet with my friend Odd, odd is how it's spelled. He's not an oddball. He's a really smart guy who runs they created an online type of Expedia website where they sell tickets for any airline on the planet, really. Little community in northern Norway it's owned by Wideroe. And that's what I think about when I think about Wideroe. But now they've always been close to SAS. They're a part of Eurobonus. So when you fly with Wideroe, you can earn Eurobonus points, and you get lounge access if you're Star Gold and some various things like that. But there's been a little bit shaky, that relationship, in the last few years. SAS says that Wideroe doesn't want to pay for getting their services, and they're sharing their mileage points, et cetera, et cetera. And Wideroe says that SAS is overcharging. So they are not at the best terms. And earlier this year, you were able to purchase, Norwegian is not really a low-cost carrier. It is a low-cost carrier, but it's not a a cheap carrier. It has all the bells and whistles that you would get from a European carrier right now. So it's an interesting buy, and they've been selling tickets. So you can buy a ticket from Wideroe going from Svolvær in Norway to Oslo on Wideroe, or Trondheim with Wideroe, and then onwards with Norwegian, and then onwards to any airline in the world. You can buy tickets right now, right? So that's been in place for a few months already. But I think it came out of left field, and I think that's an interesting purchase. And $106 million isn't really a lot of money. But yeah, and Wideroe also has some footprint. They've bought quite a few. I don't know how many they have. Maybe a dozen, or maybe 10, or maybe less. E190 version 2. So the newest version of those is what they have. 190 E2s is what they have. They have 3 of them only. I thought there were more coming, but maybe I didn't catch up on that. So while Norwegian was a big airline, they went from having 150, 180 planes, 787s, and a bunch of others. They went down to 51 because of bankruptcy. They got rid of long haul, and now they have 81 737-800s and 737 MAX 8s. So it's one type of airplane. What do you think?
Well, I will be honest. I've never heard of Wideroe. Until our earlier conversation, I think it's an interesting move for an airline that just came out of bankruptcy to purchase a small regional carrier like this. But not being familiar with the dynamics of the Norwegian market and Scandinavian market, I guess, might be the best way to put that. It's hard for me to say. I guess I was surprised to see it happen, just because of the semi-recent bankruptcy of Norwegian.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing. I think it's been so close to SAS. I didn't see this move coming either. Yeah. SAS is strong. Norwegian is doing fine. I mean, they are just almost the size of SAS, and they're doing great. Okay. But I think that they're back to their core business model, right? Long haul, wide body flying, even with 787s, which is specifically very seasonable. I don't have any faith in that business model. I don't know about you.
Zero.
And with that in mind, that's what really was holding them down and really made them suffer throughout the years. It was the reason why they were struggling, is because of that. The long haul business didn't work for them. Now there is an offshoot called Norse Atlantic. They have 15 out of those 38 787s that are operating in various markets. Never made money so far, and it's got Bjørn Kjos, who is my dear friend. I love this guy. He's such a hard worker, and he's one of the shareholders. The people are like thinking now it'll be Norwegian will, then eventually get back into the business there. I highly doubt it. I don't see that happening. I think that right now, this is a contender. It's much of a more pleasant experience. Norwegian are on time. They deliver a good product. Yes, there has been some kinks that they need to iron out right now, but they're more on time than SAS has ever been. And it's the same product pretty much. You can get status with them as well, meaning that they're just as equal as any of the European carriers who now charge for everything. Lufthansa, you got to pay for your seat. It doesn't matter if you're Star Gold or anything like that. It's quite the thing. And also that we know that Norwegian Reward is now coming into a new currency. And we've seen some press releases on that lately, that new currency is going to be. And that's with a company, another company you haven't heard about, which is, well, you have. We talked about it earlier today, is Strawberry. What is Strawberry? Except for something you put on your butter and jam. So Strawberry was Nordic Choice Hotel. And so they changed their name about a month and a half ago. So that is also a big mess of a story coming out from various things. So how much do we know about Nordic Choice?
How much do I know?
Yeah. But it ain't the Kimpton is not the answer. I think that's not what we're talking about. So this is an interesting. So Choice Hotel is a big chain, right? They have 8,500 hotels or something like that. They're bigger than Marriott with number of properties that they have, right? But it's probably not the most desirable hotels in the world. The Choice hotels, here it's like the Quality Inn and all that stuff. It's a little bit shaky and stick. But in the Nordics, there's the Nordic Choice Hotels, which is a little bit north of 300 hotels that they own. And it's run by the eccentric billionaire, Scandinavian billionaire, Petter Stordal, which is, a guy who wants to live to 100. He drinks those green protein shakes, that taste like it crawled up in somebody's ass and died every morning. And he's like all this energy. He's on Instagram. I follow him on Instagram. Actually, I think I unfollowed him because it's too much energy. But he like very eccentric billionaire. And he's got a little, as you can see from my hotel reviews, I just did a round in Scandinavia and stayed at quite a few of his hotels.
Sure.
And there are some cheapskateness that he has under the cover of trying to be eco-friendly. That's some bullshit that you'll see come through. But in general, he's got some desirable hotels. You've got in Copenhagen, you got the Villa Copenhagen. Stay there on a recent trip. Beautiful property, brand new. The old post office, they made it up to a brand new hotel. It's got a outdoor pool in the middle of the city with like an infinity pool on the edge. Wow. But of course, and it's only for guests, obviously. But actually, you can see it in the corner right there. It's so the cheapskate net comes in that you are only allowed as a guest to use the pool 45 minutes per day, and you got to book the time to do it, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard. But anyways, that was the thing that he introduced with this hotel. I just, I feel like that's the gig. And then in Oslo, they've got the Thief, which is a beautiful hotel, very modern. I like the hotel. I see Erling Støsland is here on the line and commenting on Facebook. And him and I both stayed at this hotel, and he reviewed it and I reviewed it. And I personally think that, the location is not ideal. It's like far away from the train station and all that stuff, but it's quiet, dead quiet, and it's pretty hip and stuff like that. But you also have the other hotels in Oslo. Is the Amerikalinjen is one that's cool. The Hub is Clarion. The Hub is a decent hotel. And some other stuff in downtown. I see that he's also commented the Clarion Post in Gothenburg. You have to pay 225 SEK to use the pool. Interesting. That's, let's just say this guy, he smells like a cheapskate the way he's jumping around, staying at Four Seasons and flying private jets and then charging for you to use your pool and having one bottle in the shower that's conditioner, shampoo, and everything in everything in one bottle. It's like, it's just crazy like that. But anyways, at the end of the day, Strawberry is they changed the names from the Nordic Choice Hotel. So what does this mean for us here in the Americas? Well, when you go to Europe or you go into the Scandinavian countries, to Finland, Hotel Kemp, that used to be a really nice Starwood hotel, is now a Strawberry hotel. It used to be a Nordic Choice hotel. So these hotels are kind of, showing up. They're aspirational, good properties in Scandinavia or the Nordics. And we've taken advantage of really great redemption rates. You can purchase choice points and you can stay at Choice hotels in the Scandies for a great value. It's been a really great gig for a long, long time. Now, the Strawberry name change has got me thinking, is it the end of it? Are they planning right now, since they are a powerful chain with a lot of nice hotels? And my inside information is saying that the number of guests that are coming from Choice in the U.S. is negligible. So are we seeing the end of Nordic Choice? Are we going to see that going to lose these guys, and these 300-ish hotels are going to be standalone under Strawberry? And that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I don't know what the contract. I have no idea what's going on the inside, but or what the contractual agreements are between the parties. But it seems like he losing the Choice hotel name to Nordic Choice Hotel now seems like a moving towards that. What do you think?
I would think so too.
And that's, I think that, it's just a complete different. The reason why Nordic Choice kind of exists, why they want to have, and this also, just a disclaimer, this is one jackass sitting in his house in California having an opinion, everybody has opinion, and that sentence, we know how that goes. But sure. what we're seeing here is Nordic Choice Club, their loyalty program, exists because Choice Privileges is such a bad program and doesn't have anything to offer. So in order for Nordic Choice, for these 300 hotels, which is a substantial part of the portfolio, they need to be competitive. I know Erling is saying that's good that you're online. That's great. There's no Nordic Choice Club yet. But no, they're still keeping the name Nordic Choice Club, but there is no Strawberry Club here in the in the Nordics yet. But I think that that's coming. I think that they're keeping it as it is.
Sure.
So now that in order to be competitive, so like the benefits you get from being a Choice hotel member mirrors kind of what you get from Scandic in the Nordics as well. For example, I'm level 3 with Scandic. That's they have the level 1, 2, 3, and then they've got top floor, and then they got some invitation only that really doesn't work. And what you get, for example, you can go into any Nordic Choice hotel if you were to be a member of the Strawberry Club or the Nordic Choice Hotels program. You can go into any of their hotels just by signing up and get a free cup of coffee. They got espresso machines in the reception area where you can go over and get a free cup of coffee.
I sign up for that.
This level, what I can get, and when you are at the lowest level, also you get 35 kroner to spend just for being a member at their reception shop, which is enough for a bottle of water. You get for me, a Scandic level 3 or whatever it's called. I get to use any gym at any Scandic without staying there. There are some good benefits, and 9 p.m. checkout and crazy stuff you don't see anywhere else for any of these programs. It's really, really good stuff. So that's why Nordic Choice exists. So now I think that we're going to see that. And also Norwegian has, since we're talking about this, Norwegian has gotten, and Nordic Choice are now coming up with a joint currency. And that's where I think that we're going to see like an obvious type of thing with Wideroe now next year when the contract with Eurobonus is over, and Norwegian with their Norwegian Reward. It's funny that it's called Norwegian Reward. It's singular, right? It's not Norwegian Rewards. It's only Norwegian Reward. And then you have, this big chain is together with one currency. And I bet you're going to see a lot more from these guys. They're cooking up something up in the Nordics. And I think that Choice hotels are going to be out the door. These hotels are not going to be that anymore. There's going to be some changes.
Sure.
That's my prediction.
Well, I would agree.
All right, moving over to the US&A.
Hey.
Wow. He's starting to look a little old, isn't he?
Well, that kind of job will do that sort of
How
thing.
old is he, anyways? Do you know?
I, no,
I mean,
I
I thought he
really
was
don't.
our age.
I'm leaning towards 53 to 4, which roughly, well, maybe my age. Um,
67? 55
no,
years old. He was
yeah.
born in 67. Wow,
Let's
he's got that chin thing going on underneath, the old man chin going there. Do you see
He
that?
is 55 according to the Guggle.
Yeah. He's born in 1967, so he is. Yeah, this guy, I can't. It's an airline in problem. They got some problems, right? Meltdown happens to all airlines, right?
Sure. Didn't happen to American today, thankfully, or Delta on last Friday when I flew.
It didn't happen to anybody last week because even though the weather was terrible, there was some cancellations, but it was nothing major, right?
Yep, that's true.
I think that there's really nothing more to say. I just think that the optics that we're seeing with him going to Newark, being in New York and working there, and then he's going on vacation in the middle of last week when this whole chaos was going on, and he decides that I'm going to hop in a car and then drive to Teterboro, and then I'm going to hop on a plane so I can get to my cabin in Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah.
That is some really bad.
That's a tough one. Now, if there had been some incident or something else involving a United aircraft in, let's say, wherever, and he wound up chartering an aircraft to get there to be on site, that's one thing.
Right.
Going to his, cabin in the woods on the mountain or whatever is something else. And the optics of this are terrible, especially given their kind of tricky pilot union negotiations going on at the moment. It's just something to harp on. It was a self-inflicted wound that didn't need to happen.
Yeah, I'm looking at absolutely. I mean, looking at and I know more than half a dozen people that's in senior management at United that I know worked their asses off like 24/7 in the last week and a half. Then you have their boss had. You can work from Boulder, but you can also work from a jump seat in a cockpit of a 737 from Newark to even if the plane was oversold, there are people at the gate. This guy has jump seat privileges as the CEO. I guess maybe he was afraid of the pilots. He didn't
there's that whole dynamic.
Afraid of
there's a possibility he bumps a pilot off the jump seat. That there's a lot of different directions that thing could go to make that not the ideal solution, but it would probably have been better than we need
to overhaul our air traffic control system in the country, and that has already started. We have a Secretary of Transportation who is the best and most efficient one I think we've ever had in the modern times, that really is out there banging on doors and making shit happen. And I think that that's going to happen. And I agree with Scott Kirby that that's the case. But that wasn't the main reason, because if that was really the case, then all of the other airlines would be struggling for sure.
Yeah.
It's saying that, Newark is worse than JFK because of cancellation and traffic is just come on. And as you know, JFK has 0 United flights. They pulled out of JFK, right?
Right.
All right. So next up we're going to talk about the American JetBlue deal is dead. JetBlue is not appealing the antitrust win for the government's had. So what do you think? That's kind of interesting that they didn't want to appeal.
I think they want to focus on saving their weird merger with Spirit. So off they go, and they see this as probably the best way to do that. I think this thing's probably over. I don't know if they can, carve out something a little more limited that will pass muster. Perhaps they will. I have no idea how this thing's going to turn out. I haven't really kept up with it, to be honest. But I'm not surprised about JetBlue.
The American CEO, Robert Isom, he said he wanted to appeal. That they would appeal. It doesn't look like JetBlue is on the same page. So I guess that's the end of it, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say. They could turn out anyway. Like I say, I think they can keep it. There's some sort of looser relationship they could probably pursue.
Right.
But we'll see how things turned out. JetBlue has a good reputation in many ways, but they kind of operationally have not really all that stellar anyway.
Yeah, it's JFK. I mean, if
Yeah,
that's going to be your main place of your main hub, then that you're asking for trouble for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
They don't have anything to balance it out because it's their
No,
only kind of,
exactly.
they're a little bit in Boston, but it's not that many flight that it actually matters. So
They got a bit down, I guess, down in Fort Lauderdale too, but
right,
Florida's been kind of a hot mess from an air traffic standpoint for a bit as
right.
well.
So looking at here, Gary just posted an update. This soap opera gets even better as American Airlines says they will appeal, even though JetBlue won't. Since, in JetBlue's words, they have initiated the termination of the NEA, beginning a wind down process will take place over the next coming month. I wonder what that might look like. Maybe it's American trying to, yeah, I think that's right. American trying to get JetBlue to pay some sort of a breakup fee to appeal is successful.
If there was a breakup fee in this, and I'm sure it probably was, yeah, they're probably trying to capture as much of that as they being American, trying to capture as much of that as they can.
Right.
That's not going to help them fix that hole they have in New York, though.
Right.
Not the way this is.
With that, we have the lady that does not wearing a bra on Jared's channel. We switch over to
yes,
San Francisco, baby.
Hey.
Looks like the Ruby Princess is in trouble again. Ran into the dock this morning.
Yeah, I saw that.
So the Coast Guard was involved. There was no injuries or any guests were in. It seems like it struck the pier earlier this morning, and so that looks like a thing. As we one of the last days of Twitter,
that's not going to buff out.
Yeah, that probably needs a little bit of layers of something. That's not going to buff out. That's what the guy that commented there. That's funny. All right. So what do we think of that? And how long is that going to take for them to fix?
Assuming there's not like a hull puncture, and that probably isn't, they can sail that way. They might try to paint over it to make it look a little less ugly, and they'll take care of it at the next dry dock. I don't know if
there's a hole in there.
Nah, I don't know that there. I'm assuming there isn't. It's just a pretty nasty dent. It's hard to tell from this picture.
Right.
As long as the hole wasn't punctured, I think they would take care of it at the next dry dock.
Looks like they got some nice suites in the back there.
Yeah, these are interesting looking ships with that sort of shopping cart flat backside. I don't know what.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the cruise people call them the shopping cart look.
I've never heard that before, but we had a rear facing cabin, and it was kind of like a staircase going down.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that because we noticed we were 2 levels down from the top deck that was there.
Right.
And every morning we woke up with trash on the balcony because the guys have been hosing off whatever was on the deck. So there was like crumbs and slices of bread and salami and shit on our balcony because of that. But we made them aware of it, and it stopped after the last couple of days. But I love being in the rear of the ship. It's great. A lot of good stuff there. So anyway, so moving on to I saw this morning. It's obviously in Norwegian, but for the first time today, there were 2 mega ships visiting Oslo with 10,000 passengers total. It was the Sky Princess and the Adenova, which is one of those German funky, pretzel-looking cruise ships that were stopping by at the same time. And there's been some reactions of the chaos in the city because of that. And they're now talking about what the restrictions should be with these mega ships visiting a city the size of Oslo and even smaller than that. And this is just 2 mega ships, right? With 5,000 or 10,000 total. That's kind of crazy. So what do you think that's going to look like in the future?
Hopefully it won't get so bad that they chase them off like Venice did. You've got to kind of control that. You see some of the islands, St. Thomas comes to mind, that's just overrun when they have 5, 6, 7 ships in port each day, and are just as small as maybe a little bigger than Oslo land area wise, but it still creates a bit of a mess. So I would expect some regulation on that, depending on how much money the local shops and everybody makes.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the big cities. It's like how many people are going to go shopping. It's the Norwegian kroner is really weak right now, so it was fun being over there earlier, or like late in mid to end July. Oh, June for me. It was a good time. But worth noting that mega ships. If you have like 2 or 3 Royal Caribbean, we had one of those. What did I show you? We had the Silver Muse. We had our ship.
Yeah.
We had a Princess, and we had a Holland America, and then 2 Royal Caribbean ships in where we're somewhere in Alaska. I don't remember which port it was. But those little towns have less people living there than that were in there for the day.
Oh, certainly.
All right. So now we're going to talk a little bit. So we also talked about so the Radisson program here in the U.S. has been quite interesting for some type of customers in specific type of customers, especially when it had like a global appeal. And the way that you could have the way that it had a global appeal was that it kind of you had some hotels here. There are a couple of nice ones in the U.S. You got one in Chicago, the Radisson Blue Aqua there, and you got a couple in Minnesota, and you had one in Philly and things like that. But it was pretty easy to get status with a $60-$70 credit card from U.S. Bank. You would get gold status, right? It was a very cheap card, and you would get some benefits. So it was a decent gig. So there's a long history of the Carlson family in Minnesota that started TGI Fridays, and they also started that cruise line, which is now called Regent Seven Seas. Was also started by those guys, and they sold those back out in the day. And there was before this happened, the split up. There was a company called Residor in Brussels in Europe that was owned partially by Scandinavian Airlines and some other investment groups that ran all the SAS hotels, which later became Radisson Blues, which later again SAS sold out. They've always never made money. Accumulatively, SAS is a big money pit, right? Like many of those carriers that are owned by governments, like the majority shareholders of SAS are still government owned. And so it used to be really nice hotels in Europe, and they still are. And I noticed they changed their loyalty program. They split. Long story short, they split up the program. Radisson Hotels Americas was bought by Choice Hotels, and I think that the Radisson brand is going to die in the Americas. They're going to go rid of everything Radisson here, and hopefully they'll come to their senses and have some sort of a split up here. Or some sort of agreement where when the company was split in half, you had the rest of the world based out of Brussels, which in reality now is based out of Madrid, because the boss is the old boss of the NH Hotel. So he's been building up his staff in Madrid instead of Brussels. And then you have the Americas, which got acquired by Choice, and they have some hotels, which is usually just junk, and a few okay ones. But it fits pretty well into the Choice. I can't believe I said that. But anyway, so let's go into so what I noticed, like the European program has literally been ruined. When I say that it's ruined, it's like the value of a redemption is the earning is about the same, but the value of a redemption is the same gig. So what that means, it's kind of the redemption is based on I don't want to really click through here without looking. I'm going to move this out of the screen because all of a sudden my number will show up. I want to make sure that the next stage here comes into the so it doesn't my personal information doesn't show up here.
Sure.
It does not show up here. Let me see if I click to use my points. So here you go. Let us see can you see that? Yeah. So here you can redeem up to 48,000 points for this stay. Norwegian kroner 6,406. So that doesn't make any sense at all, right?
Sure.
So here we have usually the redemption for this hotel night. That's about, so it's we're talking about a room that costs, when you use no points, it costs 1,400 kroner. They've actually changed it now, so they are breaking Norwegian law that they're not showing what the total price is. You can see here, you'll see that the actual price that shows on the website is 1,289, but that doesn't include VAT, and VAT is a substantial tax, right? We're talking about we're talking about 25%, right? So what they used to have was a fixed amount. See, I don't have enough points to pay for this night. It seems that I have to pay. It goes down from 1,400. That means I get about so if we were to look at the what's 1,000 kroner into NOK to USD, this is about $92. So my 37,900 points is worth $97 here. So as you can see, I can do a drag. I can drag. This hotel used to be 40 or 50,000 a night, or not even. This used to be more than enough for, or close to enough to for a free night. But as you can see, as I drag this back and forth, it's the way it's. So now it's turned out to being like in a core hotel type of redemption. So I don't have enough points. I'm shy. I don't even know what this, you can redeem up. So the redemption value here is 48,319. That's how many points that I need, or Norwegian kroner. So that's how they value their points. See how crazy that is? That that's how they value it. But obviously the value that you get is different. Sure. So that the program is pretty much ruined as of now. That's unfortunate. I don't know if that made sense to you.
Oh, it did.
So at the end of the day, if you're sitting on some Radisson Rewards points from the Americas, I would wait for the choice points to the choice. They're merging the programs now this fall. And then you can transfer your Radisson points over to choice. Hopefully it'll be 1-to-1. So it's actually would be worth something. And then you get some value for it. If you have points in Europe, move them over to the US, because that's going to be the best play. If not, it's just a junk redemption, as you can see here. That's pretty much
is this like the Norwegian version of getting bond void?
It's like bond void up the where 15 times is what this is. All right, so we were tooling around looking at your upcoming cruise here earlier this week. Then it looks to me like we were looking at the Bay of Kotor, where you're going in about a month, a little bit more than a month, a couple of months from now.
Yeah.
And then on the map, we saw a Hyatt Regency. And I had no freaking idea that in Montenegro.
Discovered by accident.
Right. We discovered this place by accident. And it turns out that this is a fairly new article. It is from June 12th. So they just opened like a month ago. Last week it opened. So it's exactly a month ago they opened. So let's take a look at this place. So it is, if you look at the pictures, let's see the rates first. As you can see, off season, 103 euros. Holy smokes, that is very inexpensive. And it looks kind of fancy.
It does.
Not sure if, let's look at the rooms, what they've got. It's a standard room. Looks a little bit interesting. That's the standard room. And then you've got, so you've got king bed, queen bed. You've got a king bed deluxe with a seating area. It looks like more like a junior to me. Mm-hmm. And it looks like this one has a pretty decent view outside the window.
Maybe I'll go here on the day we're there.
Pardon?
I said maybe I'll go here on the day we're in Kotor.
You should hang in for the day. I'll book a room so you can do a review for me.
Hey.
I don't know what the next time I'm going to go to Kotor. So look at these rooms. They're actually decent size. We're not even in the suite category yet. That chair right there, that looks pretty uncomfortable though. That doesn't look like to me. So it's 430 square feet for the Sea View Deluxe. And you've got, let's see, wow, you got a lot of it. You've got a king bed Sea View with hot tub and terrace deluxe. That looks like pretty peachy.
It does.
And so the big balcony outside, premium you got here on the wing. I would say the other one is more premium. The view is not as premium as the other one, but you got a jacuzzi. So, and then we go over to the suites are up here because usually they'll have a separate one for that. Look at that. You've got a Regency suite with sea view. I wonder how available that is for the dates I was looking at. I looked at October first of all, because that's the Regency suite is where you can use your confirmed suite upgrade, right? So Regency suite. Wow, a lot of apartments and other things. There she blows. Regency suite is available. On my first try, looking for it.
210 euro.
Wow. Yeah, 210. You buy it for 210. That's like pocket change. That's like $230 for crying out loud. That's pretty cool. I had no idea that was on the book, but you know, this also here looks pretty awesome. To be honest with you, I'm not really hating on that. What about high season? What about if we go now and like August is a good time to go?
Let's take a look.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go to the videotape. $210. And the suite is not available, but the king bed with hot tub is available for $433. That is impressive. And it looks like they've got some apartments also here that you can get. Look at this. It looks pretty swanky too. Hot tub premium. It's got a premium hot tub. Is that like a wow? You got bi-level and stuff. So you never know. All of a sudden, you find a bunch of hotels that you didn't know existed.
When just talking about a cruise port, who knew?
That's cool. We got to check that out. Whoever goes to that hotel first, we need a review from Montenegro. Speaking of review, we have. For those who don't know, and if you don't, you know, a lot of people here are not on the FTU, Frequent Travel University. That's the YouTube channel you see with the name right here. We're getting close to 200 reviews for the year and a half that we've been doing. We started with these reviews in December of 2021. The first review, hang on, actually, we had one in Santa Clara where I held the phone upside down or in the wrong direction. And so December is really when we started with the Capitol Hilton, and lots of reviews in here for those who, we would appreciate it if you subscribe. I mean, of course, some of you people right now, we have 7 people who are watching this on YouTube Live, but we also have 17 on Facebook for various channels. So we would really appreciate it if so you can get, it's just Jamie and I, and also to you at extent. We've got some reviews from you too that we got to figure out how to get out there. It's pretty much 5-6 minutes, just showing you how the rooms look and what to expect from each of this. You've got.
I need to practice my talking speech for the hotel reviews. I've got a few videos hanging around I could probably string together.
Beautiful. That sounds like a plan. So we've got, 185 are now published, and we've got right now in the pipeline, we have about 30 that Jamie and I visited the last month that's going to be showing. Here's the Villa Copenhagen, for example, which is the, actually that's the, so this is we put up, every time Jamie and I stay at a hotel, we do a quick walkthrough and a quick review through here, and we call it hotel reviews on the fly. And so this is the Villa Copenhagen that I just visited. Was it last week? It's not that long ago. So if you haven't already, we would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, because we've had close to 200,000 views so far, but we would appreciate it if you if you subscribe for us. There was somebody that just did. Thank you. I appreciate that. Last one. And also, if you're out there and would like to help us make reviews, it's not a paid gig, but I've got a lot of stuff laying around and some gift cards and things like that. I would love to get some help. If somebody's interested, shoot me a note. Last thing on the roster today is Zorkfest. So as you know, the FTU we've had close to 40 events since the first one we had at LaGuardia in Flushing, next to LaGuardia, close to LaGuardia, where Gary Leff, our friend Gary Leff, was the guy who put together the FTUs for the first 3 or 4 years until he became too busy to help us out with that. And over 20,000 people has attended an FTU, and we just did one in Washington D.C. where you spoke also, right?
Yep. Had a great time.
First pandemic one back, had a close to full house again, 125 people in DC for our smaller, more expensive events. That's pretty good. Now we've teamed up with Zorkfest, which is Michael Traeger. Our friend Michael Traeger has a classy. What do we call that site? More gambling, and he's a Las Vegas expert.
Yeah.
We've teamed up with them. We're providing the miles and points content and to this event. And the ones we've got, cool people speaking from our gig is Carissa Rawson, who's really cool. She's a combat veteran, a really smart girl from Southern California that was in combat. She's a really hardcore lady, and she's now a miles and points expert. So that's really, really cool.
Excellent.
And we've got Ben Coleman, who's spoken at multiple of our events. We've got, of course, Gary is coming out for the first time. And wow, I think the first time he's speaking it must be like probably 8-9 years ago since the last time he was at one of our events, or at any events, to be honest with you, except for during the week. It has to do that he had a kid and that stuff, but also looking like a really sharp program. And if you are an FTU annual member, which costs $69, you get $49 off of this event. And that's in addition to your normal coupon of $49. Can't shake a stick at that. And also, we were chatting with Traeger this morning. We're also going to record the sessions, and most of them, if the speakers who approve for us to record, we have professional equipment that we record video content with at our business to business events. So we're going to bring that to Lake Tahoe and record some of these sessions. But I would totally recommend to come to Lake Tahoe. I will be there. Traeger will be there. Gary will be there. And also Gilbert Ott, who's now moved from he's not an active blogger now because he became a corporate stooge. Tell him he needed to have a real job, I guess, like the rest of us. So he's also coming. Great guy. Love hanging out with him. And some of the big Vegas names also. There is a little bit of stuff. So, and I hope you can try and make it also if you can get the permission from the missus.
I know. I would love to, just for the posh cocktail reception and seeing you guys.
Yeah, posh is a word that you probably can get behind.
Posh
cocktail reception is it's definitely something that Traeger is good at.
Yeah, I was like,
and then we have the dinner. We had the steak dinner in Vegas at what's the name of the steakhouse at where we were in Vegas? We were at a steakhouse, best steakhouse in Vegas. Las Vegas. It is called, it was at the Andiamo is what it's called. Andiamo Steakhouse in Las Vegas. And it was no, it's not. That's at the D. It was, we've been there before too. We were at where were we in Vegas? I was only there for a day, and it was we had a great steak dinner, and I'm sure it will be a great steak dinner up in Lake Tahoe as well, and it's included in the ticket price. And FTU members, of course, get $49 off, which is a great deal, and we can't help get Traeger to get successful with his event. And that's pretty much it for today.
Holy smokes. 49
That's what
minutes.
she said.
That's exactly right.
And now you can, so you're home by yourself for the first time since 1935.
Something like it is. My wife stayed in Tampa for a couple of days to be with her mom. And so, yeah, it's like frat house rules here, me and the cat for like a whole day and a half. So
Where are they? Are there any cats around or?
I've got Sonny locked out here. So, yeah, because he's outside yelling now.
It is, right? You locked him out of the room. That's funny. Poor guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that should be a good wrap for us for today. Thanks to everybody for joining episode 33. Hope it was a good time. It was, I wasn't as funny, or we weren't as funny today. I think we've had a long week, and you just came back from a swelling heat down in Florida. So, but dial in next week, and we'll. What do we call? What was it? Bullshit on the balcony.
Bullshit on the balcony. That's what
we're going to call it. One day we're going to be on a cruise ship doing bullshit on the balcony together.
We're doing it.
Beautiful. Enjoy your week, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.